Hello, I'm Angelina Ballerina. Welcome to another episode of the most rarest unforgotten kids shows. Now today's video is going to be all about me because I am a very special childhood memory for loads of girls out there who love to do ballet. So let's roll the titles. Thank you, Angelina. That was very kind of you to do so. Oh, you're very welcome. So, Angelina Ballerina, everybody. Another one of my most favourite and the most inspirational character that gave me the inspiration to become a dancer. Unfortunately, not ballet, of course, but still. This show brings back so many happiest and most amazing early memories of my childhood. And still, I've kept her for like nearly 20 years now. So yeah, still remains a big part of my heart. So let's start talking about it. The first time I ever got into Angelina Ballerina is definitely a very crazy and very unusual story. So sit back, relax and enjoy this. So my family and I was about 7 years old at the time when this first came out. Now, if you guys remember, do you remember on a commercial that you would see these magazine issues? There'd be issue 1, there'd be issue 2 and issue 3 and so on. And they would have all these magazines of like your most favourable characters and they'd always like leave a gift. That was when I spotted Angelina Ballerina. And I remember that she had all like these really pretty dresses that you'd collect every single magazine that you would get from her. And I remember just sitting down there. Obviously, I grew up poor, so of course, I remember just sitting down there. My mum and my older sister, they were very inspired and really wanted to buy this for me. And my mum was like, we should definitely get this for Emily. And I, of course, thought, you know, there's no way you can afford it. You can't afford stuff like that. So I decided to just put my mind off it and think, yeah, that's never going to happen. But a few weeks later, I remember playing on my PS1, and just in case you guys know, that PS1 was a Christmas present from my grandmother. So yeah, I kept it for many years. So yeah, I was playing on my PS1 and my sister comes back from the shops and she asks me, would you like your big surprise or would you like your tiny little surprise? And there's me being 7 years old. Of course, I wanted the big surprise. And then she showed me the biggest magazine cover of Angelina Ballerina, and it came with a cuddly toy doll and even a beautiful pink dress. And my face was like it was the most amazing surprise and still the best. Another early memory that I do also remember was that I had absolutely no idea that Angelina Ballerina had her own show until one day. It was a Friday afternoon, definitely one of the best days of the week. And my mom and my sister, we went into W.H. Smith's and I spotted this VHS tape of like the all bumper special TVs, which means like there's about 10 shows all in one video. So you've got Barney, you've got Bob the Builder, you've got Sheep, you've got the Wiggles. And that was when I spotted Angelina Ballerina. And I remember screaming at it, screaming with my mum, being like, look, mummy, it's Angelina. And my mum was a little bit reluctant to buy it for me because it did cost quite a fortune. But because then like she also told me that, but you've got all these other episodes on as well. And I was like, are you sure? And I was very determined because I had to watch it. I had to see it for myself. I really did have to see it for myself. So she was like, all right, like not happy with it, but it was so worth it. The very first episode I saw of that show was Midnight Muddle. And the funniest thing that happened was like when Angelina was putting a tent up, and of course Alice, one of the most dearest and lovable friends, suddenly didn't go very well. So let's have a look at it. Yeah, the thing I love about friendship is that, you know what, whenever they make a mistake, they just laugh it off. But seriously, absolutely fantastic. Another one of my most favouriteest moments of that episode was when Sammy, the most horrible, naughtiest mouse in the whole entire show, like, suddenly crashes his bike, and Mrs. Hodgepodge, the most annoying and the most grumpiest next door neighbour, rushes out wearing her pyjamas. I love the way that she runs. It is absolutely hilarious. Let's have a look at that. I really should be sorry for laughing, but oh my god, how embarrassing would that have been to just suddenly come out wearing your pyjamas, wearing them hairnet things. I don't know why they wear them for, like, seriously, if you washed your hair or something. And yeah, so, but yeah. Another childhood memory I remember from that show was when going over to the library and finding the VHS tape of Angelina Ballerina, The Lucky Penny. Another one of my most favourite VHS tapes ever, because I remember one time when we first see that episode, obviously there's Angelina and there's Alice and they're skipping along perfectly happily, but can you spot something a little bit odd with that episode? Let's find out.
Princess, this one, princess, this one, princess, this one, princess, this one, princess.
I'm pretty sure you guessed it. She wasn't wearing her red bow, or was it pink? I don't remember. But yeah, one thing I got really confused about, I was like, did she have a bow or something, or like, does she look different? But thankfully she managed to find it with a thanks to the lucky penny. However, on that episode, Angelina suddenly like loses her lucky penny. Let's have a look where it ends up. Oh no, it must have went underneath of Alice's chair. Oops. But of course, it does lead to a very sad moment. And what broke me heart was like seeing Henry, obviously the adorable but very annoying little cousin, like saying, oh, I'm so sorry and all that. Because, you know, he did try to find it for her, but of course he really couldn't. And one time they go into their ballet class and it turns out Henry has found it. But there was actually a very random twist to that.
I've got lots of lucky pennies. You mean
So it turns out that Angelina did not need a lucky penny just to get the main part of the show. She actually did it all on her own. And I think that's a very good lesson that we can all learn from, obviously, during this episode, is that you don't need a penny for luck. You don't need luck. You just have to go out there and show yourself and enjoy that you took part in it. But, you know, I would say, Henry, that was very lucky because, you know, I'm pretty sure if Angelina was in a very bad mood, then yeah, she probably wouldn't be happy to see you or something. How can we all possibly forget the most annoying and the most jealousy and the most rudest characters of all, Priscilla and Penelope? Oh my god, they always made my blood boil. Another episode I remember from this was like that Priscilla did the most amazing like dance move, because in like the previous moment Angelina tried but she failed miserably, and apparently Miss Lily like goes to Angelina and says like, that's how you should do it, and her face is like ah, and all that, and I felt so related to that. So let's have a little look at that.
Beautiful, darling, beautiful. You see, Angelina, that is how you must do it.
Do you know what? I don't blame her one bit for doing that. The amount of times that people told me, like, that is exactly how you should do it, right? I'm always like, excuse me? How dare you? So we all know this show was absolutely amazing, especially when you had characters you hated the most and thought they were so out of order. Obviously, of course, you know, Priscilla and Penelope. I mean, let's have a little look at like their most vicious and horrible moments.
another easy one. Quick,
honestly, I don't know who freaking raised them. Oh yeah, of course, Mrs. Pink Paws and Mr. Pink Paws. I mean, seriously. But you know what? Another episode that I do remember from, obviously it's called The Old Oak Tree, and apparently there's an episode where Priscilla falls off a tree and hurts her arm, and it turns out that the mother is just as angry and as horrible as these two are, because it's like, okay, so yeah, she falls off the tree and now she like demands them to like chop down the tree immediately, and obviously not anyone else getting hurt. But seriously, let's have a little look at like Mrs. Pink Paw's very nasty habit.
It should be cut down immediately. After all, my darling daughter nearly broke her arm. We don't want anyone else to get hurt, do we?
Boy, that is one bad temper. Freaking hate, absolutely hate. But then again, it brought out the goodness of Mrs. Hodgepodge, because she was definitely against it. And all of Angelina and her friends, they were definitely against it. So let's have a little look at their, I've forgotten their name, what was it called? Protest.
Angelina, get down from there!
You'll cut this tree down over my dead body.
Mrs. Hodgepodge, that really won't be necessary. Come away now! All of you!
But of course, sadly, the tree chopped down by itself. Obviously, it wasn't chopped down, but it actually fell to the ground. And it was so sad to see it. But they did something completely perfect out of it. So let's have a little look.
Thank you, Dad. Can we go and play on it now?
Off you go then.
Wow, a wooden climbing frame. How cool is that? Jeez, I wish to God I could just have one of those in my garden. But yeah, never possible. Talking about the Pink Paws, I remember another episode that again is one of my absolute favourites. Now, Priscilla and Penelope bring their baby brother, obviously to like the park, so everyone has a little look at it. And there's Angelina trying to have a look, but of course you can't even see it. And of course she suddenly develops jealousy. So she ends up coming out with saying, oh, we're going to have a new baby too. And oops, it goes a little bit out of control. One thing I can never understand is that how like Miss Lily and arranges a massive party for the Mouselings, but what I can never understand is how like she never did a party for like Mrs. Pink Paws. This may be a very strange coincidence, but it could probably be true. Maybe Miss Lily can't stand the Pink Paws whatsoever. That is very unusual. I really don't know, but yeah. But of course, Angelina suddenly pops out the truth.
But the truth is, my mum isn't really going to have a baby.
A baby?
Darling, what are you talking about?
I love the part where Mr. Mouseling suddenly like takes off his glasses and he's like, a baby? Like, what? But in the end, there's still a party and they of course welcome the adorable little baby.
Welcome, little one.
Oh, how lovely.
Did you guys see that little cute baby just waving at Miss Lily? If you go back and then maybe, yeah, you'd probably see it. But oh, absolutely adorable. But you know, the thing is, towards like the end, Angelina is like hoping to have a baby soon. And eventually, many episodes later, she does get a beautiful baby sister.
We're calling her Polly. Polly. Oh, that's just perfect for her.
Oh, the adorable little Polly. Now, this episode was definitely one of the most heartbreaking episodes that I've ever watched, and I have to admit, the amount of times that I've watched it, I've had moments where I cried. It was just so sad, because like the thing is that, you know, having a new baby, it's always like a very exciting thing, especially for the parents and of course, you know, for like their kids. And it's like, you know, it's so exciting. It's like, you know, you think you're going to be the perfect big sister. However, you never know the negative side of it, that babies always cry. And what kind of got to me was like, Mrs. Mouseling tries to give Polly to Angelina, but she ends up crying. Let's have a little look at that.
Here you are. Gently.
so sad because it's like you can actually see that, you know, I don't like you, I don't want you to hold me. You can actually like feel the baby, and it is like quite sad. It's like, you know, you can feel like the heartache from Angelina, because it's like, you know, she was so desperate to hold her. She loved Polly, but of course things just got from bad to worse.
What was that? Oh, Polly! How could you? I thought I told you to keep an eye on her. She nearly fell off the bed. She broke my prize. There, it's all right, Polly. You just don't care about me anymore, do you? It's all Polly, Polly, Polly.
It's really horrible, isn't it? You never want to see your favourite character out of your favourite show just crying their eyes out and going through such a horrible time. But one thing that I did feel relatable was that Angelina tried to run away from home, and even the time when she packed up her suitcase and even tried to leave, and they still ignored her. And of course, you know, I shouldn't really blame the parents. I mean, yeah, newborn baby, it's very stressful, it's very hard. So yeah, but of course, so, and kind of like what made me sad was that she's gonna like live with her grandparents, but they didn't seem to understand her either, and that's what made things so much worse as well. I mean, saying they're like, oh, you know, they want you to help with the baby and all that, but of course, like, when all the attention is on Polly, Angelina completely snaps. And again, Angelina finally breaks down, and Mrs. Mouseling comes to her comfort, and they have a heart-to-heart. So let's have a look at that.
Care about me anymore? Oh, of course I do. I love you just as much as ever. No, you don't. All you care about is Polly. Oh, but that's not true. I love both of you. Oh, there. I know it's been hard. You'll always be special to me, Angelina. You were my very first baby.
I don't know why, but that does make me emotional, like watching it time to time again, because it's like you can actually like feel it. You actually like feel the sadness in Angelina, and again, you know, you can feel like the sadness in Mrs. Mouseling as well. And it's like, you know, saying to her, you know, she'll always be special, and it's just absolutely fantastic. And it's sad, but of course they have a heart-to-heart. But you know, the best thing about it, the dad pulled up like some very happy violin music, and that was when Polly finally stopped crying and eventually danced with Angelina, and they had the very special bond in dance. How cool is that? Another thing that I forgot to mention on Angelina's surprise episode, did you spot a very random mistake at the beginning of the episode? Let's have a little look at that.
Now be careful, darling.
Did you guys spot it? It was another Angelina. How weird is that? Couldn't like the cartoonist like be bothered to like draw or colour a different mouse? But how weird is that? I mean, how hilarious is that? It's like she's watching another clone of herself looking up, be like, oh, be careful, me. That's dangerous. I actually like knew that when I was very young, especially the first time I even saw that as a little kid. When I started becoming obsessed with Angelina Ballerina, especially the time when we had these magazines coming out every single week, that was always the most exciting days of my life, because I remember that whenever I would like pick up a magazine, I would always like read it and wonder like when the next one's going to come out, and they always came every single week. And I think, if I remember rightly, this was on a Thursday. So every single Thursday, I would always like, I'd either like be at school, and if my mind like wanders off, or if I'm trying to focus on it, sometimes my head would suddenly like pop up just like that. And I'd be like, oh, I'm buying the new Angelina Ballerina magazine today. And I would have this really big, happy, exciting smile on my face all the time. And I went in there so often that they gave me this little filing cabinet where like I would open it up, I would find the number, and I would pick it up and it'd be there. And it was always so exciting. Oh my God. And I loved picking up all like the different dresses that she always wore. And it was just fantastic. All thanks to this amazing character of mine. She gave me the biggest inspiration, and this is the obvious reason why I found passion in dance. Now, I remember I was about 7 years old when I first started getting into dance again. I started dance when I was about 4 years old, but of course I stopped because some little girl said something to me, and there's me being very sensitive. I took it the wrong way and I cried, and I said to my mom, I don't want to do it anymore. And she just let me do it. But eventually, when I found Angelina Ballerina, I suddenly thought, I want to get back into dance again. So my mom tried looking for dance classes. We even tried like a local. But one thing that I do remember is that I was about to go in, and there was this horrible woman. She said to us, oh, it's not on a Thursday, it's on a Tuesday. Boy, did I have the biggest outburst. And worst of all, I was with my childhood friend, and she saw me throw the biggest temper tantrum ever. I cried all the way home. I was really upset because I was so determined to like build up the confidence and just go in and enjoy myself. So I was really upset that that did not work out. And after so many attempts, I finally got into it. That was when I first found musical theatre, and that was the best choice ever because now I love my musical theatre. I love to sing, I love to dance, and I also love to act. But of course, you know, dancing, not ballet though, is also quite sad. But of course, thinking back to the fairies, that has definitely made me feel that, you know what, I want to start ballet classes. So as a special treat for you guys, here is me dancing to the fairy ballet. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and we'll still have more on the way. Oh, I loved doing that. That was absolutely so much fun to shoot. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed that dance move. Another sad moment from the show has got to be the one with Alice and Angelina having the biggest fight ever. Obviously, because Alice thought that Angelina gave away her like gym bag that made especially for her, and of course as a special gift from a very special friend. But it turned out it was just some sort of mistake. But things obviously went from bad to worse there. So let's have a little look at that.
William, I don't need friends like Alice. And I don't need you either. I'm never going to be your friend again. Not ever, ever, ever. Well, good.
Oh God, I don't know why, but I definitely felt the guilt that Angelina had, and Do you know what? It just shows how much you love your character, because you can feel the guilt and the sadness and the anger and the happiness and the excitement in them. But still, seeing the guilt, it really does make me feel so guilty just watching it. It's absolutely so sad. But eventually, Alice realised that she never meant to like do it. It was just an accident. And of course, they eventually made up in hugs and did the very best performance. And one of my favourite moments was definitely like the ending of the show, when Angelina gave Alice the most beautiful present and said, best friends can give each other presents anytime. That is definitely the most beautiful quote I will forever treasure in my heart. If you're also a massive fan of Angelina Ballerina, do you remember the most amazing DVD, Princess Dance? This is one of my most favourite and definitely the best specials I ever brought home. Now, believe it, I've had this since 2005, and the very first time I ever found this, I was so excited. I couldn't wait to bring it home. And when I started watching it, I was absolutely fascinated. And I was very excited to go through like these DVD menus and all that. And it was just so exciting. It was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. I get to do this, I get to do that. And the best thing about it was that if you guys go onto the hit parade, you'll actually like see all like these other different show trailers that are also included, especially on bumper VHS tapes. But still, I have got to show you the most craziest and the amazing hit entertainment trailer for Angelina Ballerina Princess Dance. Let's have a little look at that and enjoy it.
For the very first time on DVD, Angelina Ballerina Princess Dance, a magical feature-length special. I'm going to be playing a real princess in a real palace. Angelina dreams of becoming a star. So when Queen Serafina invites her to direct Sleeping Beauty, she's so excited. Are we all going to put on the best show we can for Queen Serafina and Miss Lily? Yay! Queen's eldest daughters are given starring roles. Easy peasy. Yes, easy and peasy. But things are soon out of control and the show seems doomed. Will Henry make his curtain call? Will the naughty princesses spoil everything? I've had enough of those princesses. Will the show be saved? Find out in Angelina Ballerina Princess Dance. Brand new on feature-length DVD. I promise it will be the best production ever. Or twirl and curl up with the all-new illustrated storybook, Angelina at the Palace. It's brilliant! And for more royal fun, bring home Angelina's theatre playset. Wow! So beautiful! Angelina Ballerina Princess Dance. Yours to own on DVD from the 23rd of January. The perfect gift for your little star.
Absolutely fantastic. Do you know what? If I ever did an award ceremony, I would definitely put that in first place. Absolutely brilliant. It also includes Princess Sophie, Princess Valentine, and it's like, you think they're great dancers. Boy, was we all wrong or what? But thankfully it went so well. And another early childhood memory, obviously from the show, it was actually at Christmas time. And I don't know if it was either my mum or if it was my sister, or maybe it was from some other friends or family, something like that. I really don't know. But I remember one of my most favouriteest Christmas presents was that it was an Angelina Ballerina book, but it was all filled with like different stories so of course like the book was a lot bigger, and it'd be about her doing ballet for the first time, doing gymnastics with her best friend Alice, and going to a boat with her grandparents and putting on a show. Oh, I just remember like reading it on Christmas Day at night time while we was all watching Emmerdale and watching Coronation Street, watching EastEnders, and I would always like read it in the dark, but it was just absolutely fantastic. I did that every single night for a very long time. But of course, when I started high school, I think that's when I got rid of it, because I thought, geez, imagine like me bringing a friend home from high school and they see that. They are so going to judge me. But still, one thing that I did definitely buy, and it was from a charity shop, it was Angelina on the stage, I think. Yeah, on the stage. And I actually like bought this, I think, last year or like 2 years ago. But still, this is one of my favourite stories. Another one that I do also remember as well, and I remember I was going to buy this one on VHS tape, but I decided not to. And I have to tell you guys, I regretted doing that so badly. So, do you guys know the movie, The Show Must Go On? And this is the one where Angelina is desperate to be Cinderella, but unfortunately it goes to Priscilla, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I loved the scene where like Priscilla sang, and it was absolutely so beautiful. Now, one thing I also do want to say, guys, this episode does kind of remind me of the show Dance Moms. Now, let me tell you the flaming characters. So, Angelina, Maddie, Henry, Mackenzie, Priscilla, Chloe, Penelope, Paige, Mr. Operatsky, Abby Lee Miller, Gianna, the dance teacher, Miss Lily, and Felicity and Flora, Nia, and Brooke. Do you guys understand what I mean by that? How funny is that? I mean, unfortunately, all like great shows have to come to an end. So unfortunately, I have to end this amazing special. I love Angelina Ballerina, and of course, you know, I've showed you the book, the DVD, and the cuddly toy doll. But you know what? Angelina is my most favouriteest and will forever be my number one childhood show, and also gave me the inspiration to dance. So yeah, if you guys want to like dance with me, I do TikTok live dance parties every Friday, and you know, I might have more on the way, so we'll just have to wait and see. But of course, so this is the final curtain call. So everybody rise up. I'll just move this out of the way. And, oh dear. This is obviously what Angelina did. Back on like the website, of course. She would point her toe here, here, and we curtsy. Have a lovely time, everybody. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And as they say, curtain call, goodbye.